In an office full of glass walls and quiet judgments, love learned how to whisper instead of speak. Every morning, the elevator doors opened on the 10th floor with the same soft chime, and every morning my heart prepared itself for the same danger. I stepped out with my laptop bag on my shoulder, coffee warming my hand, reminding myself to breathe normally, to walk normally, to be just another employee in a sea of gray suits and polite smiles. And then she appeared. Emma Hartley walked through the corridor with calm confidence, heels clicking softly against the marble floor, posture straight, eyes focused. Conversations lowered when she passed. People respected her, some feared her, no one questioned her authority. Except my heart. She was my boss, and everyone was watching. "Good morning," she said, her voice steady, professional, kind in a way that never crossed a line. "Good morning, Ms. Hartley," the team replied in near unison. Her eyes met mine for just a second longer than anyone else's. A tiny pause, a flicker of warmth, then she moved on like nothing had happened. I told myself it meant nothing. At my desk, I tried to focus. Emails, reports, deadlines, but every sound of her voice drifted through the office like a quiet melody I couldn't turn off. "Can you come to my office for a moment?" she asked later, standing beside my desk. My heart raced, but I nodded, of course. Her office smelled faintly of lavender and paper. The blinds were half open, sunlight painting soft lines across the floor. She gestured for me to sit. "I reviewed your proposal," she said, flipping through papers. "You think differently, that's rare." "Thank you," I said, keeping my eyes on the folder in my hands. Silence settled between us, not awkward, heavy. "You don't have to be so tense," she added gently. "I'm not scary." I smiled without thinking. "Everyone else thinks you are." She laughed softly, a sound she never made in meetings. "I suppose that's part of the job." Another pause, her eyes softened. "When we're alone," she said quietly, "you can just call me Emma." I looked up surprised. "Are you sure?" She nodded. "I trust you." That word stayed with me all day. Trust. Over weeks, the small moments grew. Shared coffee in the break room when no one else was around. Late evenings finishing projects together, the office lights dimmed, the city glowing outside the windows. "You work too hard," I said one night, watching her rub her temples. "So do you," she replied. "Maybe that's why we understand each other." Sometimes our hands brushed when passing documents. Sometimes our laughter lingered a second too long. We never crossed a line, but the line existed, glowing between us, daring us to step closer. And the office noticed. Whispers followed us like shadows. "She favors him," someone said near the printer. "Must be nice," another voice added, low and sharp. I pretended not to hear, but the words dug into my chest. One afternoon, during a team meeting, Emma praised my work. "This section was exceptionally done," she said, nodding in my direction. I felt proud, and then I felt the weight of eyes on me, cold, judging. Later that day, I overheard laughter near the hallway. "Promotion coming early," someone joked. "Guess talent isn't the only requirement." I walked past without looking at them, but my hands shook. That evening, I waited until the office emptied. I stood outside Emma's door, heart pounding, before knocking. "Come in," she said. I closed the door behind me. "Is something wrong?" she asked, noticing my expression. "Yes," I said, the word heavier than I expected. "Everyone thinks I'm only here because of you." She frowned. "That's not true, and you know it." "But they don't," I replied, "and you never say anything, you never stop them." She stood up slowly. "I can't control what people assume." "You could deny it," I said. "You could make it clear." Her jaw tightened. "This conversation isn't appropriate." The word hit like a slap. "Inappropriate," I repeated quietly. "Is that what I am to you?" She looked away, pain flickering across her face before she masked it with professionalism. "I'm your manager," she said. "That's all that matters here." I nodded, swallowing the lump in my throat. Understood. The next day she was different, distant, Formal, no lingering looks, no quiet smiles, just instructions and meetings and walls I couldn't climb. It hurt more than the rumors. Days passed, then weeks. The warmth between us faded into something cold and controlled. I did my job well, but the joy was gone. Late one Friday, the office was almost empty. Rain tapped softly against the windows. I sat at my desk, staring at a letter I had written and rewritten all evening. A resignation letter. I stood, walked to her office, and placed it on her desk. Then I turned to leave. Wait. Her voice stopped me. She stood in the doorway, coat still on, eyes wide. Are you leaving? She asked. I nodded. I think it's best. She picked up the letter, her hands trembling slightly as she read. When she looked up, her eyes were wet. Is this because of me? She asked. I hesitated, because of what we never said and what we couldn't be. She closed the door softly. I pushed you away to protect you, she said, her voice breaking, and myself. I stayed silent. I worked so hard to get here, she continued. As a woman, as a leader, one mistake, one rumor, and everything I built could fall apart. I understand, I said quietly. That's why I'm leaving. She shook her head. No, I don't want you to leave thinking you meant nothing. She stepped closer. Every morning when you walked in, my day felt lighter. Every conversation mattered. And yes, I was afraid. Tears rolled down her cheeks. But I'm more afraid of losing something real because of fear. I looked at her, heart racing. Emma, I don't want a career built on silence, she said, if it costs me you. The rain outside grew heavier, like the world holding its breath. Weeks later, the office gathered in the conference room. A new manager was introduced. Emma sat among us now, no longer at the head of the table. During lunch break, she approached me, holding 2 cups of coffee. Hi, she said, smiling openly for the first time in months. Want to talk? I smiled back. I'd like that. We walked out together, side by side, no glass walls between us anymore. And for the first time, no one was watching. Sometimes love isn't wrong. It's just waiting for the right moment to be brave.